welcome to How to Sound Smart. I'm your host, Stella Green, and today I'm going to help you navigate that introvert's nightmare that is the holiday party season. People are gathering with friends, chatting it up, and discussing all of the salient issues, crime, foreign affairs, and the like. And here you are, you don't watch the news. How on earth are you going to manage to sound smart in all of these casual social situations? I know. You'll do it by following today's lesson. Play to your strengths. Is everyone discussing a contemporary issue you don't understand / refuse to pay attention to? Instead of trying to fake your way through conversations, distract from them with your knowledge of historical nonsense. Speaking of historical and seasonal nonsense, our topic for today is the origins of Santa Claus. This long and frankly often frightening journey begins in the Mediterranean. Santa started as a Greek bishop alive in the 4th century whose name was, you guessed it, St. Nicholas. This man was the patron saint of children and was known to bring gifts and also to be magic. St. Nick's role as gift giver and child protector can be traced to two hopefully exaggerated stories from his own life. The first is nice, though I'll grant a little dated. He brings a poor family 3 bags of gold so they can afford dowries for their daughters. The second one takes a turn. There once was an innkeeper. One day, 3 boys walked into his inn. Then, displaying the absolute worst customer service of which I am aware, the innkeeper killed the boys, chopped them up, then proceeded to salt, otherwise season, and pickle them in his basement. Sensing this, with what one must logically conclude is some of that aforementioned magic, St. Nicholas rushed over to the inn, and once on the scene, he resurrected the boys. Then, hopefully, he called somebody about that really crummy innkeeper. Now on to Europe. St. Nicholas was very well liked, and thus had a pretty good cult. This pretty good cult of his eventually brought him, or well, not him because he was dead at this point, but they brought the idea of him over to Italy. By the time St. Nick hit the European scene, the Norse god Odin already had the flying magic gift man market pretty cornered. However, the people of Europe found room for Nick. Over time, the two sort of merged, but kept the name St. Nicholas. For a good run, St. Nick was the gift bringer. Then during the Protestant Reformation, he and his fellow saints experienced a bit of a decline in popularity. Even so, everyone still wants gifts, right? So they decided to see about getting St. Nick a replacement. Then came the monsters. St. Nicholas was leaving some pretty big shoes to fill, and the general thinking seemed to be, what fills big shoes? A big monster. During this time period, we saw such Santa prototypes as Rough Nicholas, Ashy Nicholas, and Furry Nicholas. All of them were variations of a flying, bearded nightmare man, and all of them either beat or facilitated the beating of children. Thank goodness for the Netherlands. Up north, St. Nick never fell out of fashion, and the name Santa Claus actually comes from the Dutch Sinterklaas, is probably how you say that. They were, in fact, the ones who eventually gave Santa a lift with them over to the New World. Regrettably, we also got the demons. Possibly as a result of the demons, Christmas didn't catch on right away in North America. Christmas as we know it, in fact, didn't start to take shape until around the 19th century. At this point, some writers and poets decided to make Christmas a family holiday, because I guess all of a sudden it's their business. And as a part of this process, they set about rebuilding Santa as the kindly old elf we all know and aren't terrified of. In 1821, an anonymous poem got us pretty darn close to modern Santa, featuring a secular gift bringer wearing shaggy furs. However, this particular depiction of Santa kind of took us 1 step forward, 2 steps back. For example, instead of flying around through the wintry night skies like had at that point been established that he did, this Santa rode around in an earthbound wagon with just one lone reindeer, bumming everyone out. He also unfortunately continued to endorse child beating, but didn't seem to think it was worth it to do it himself. He'd just give the kids the switches. These kinks were eventually hammered out, and the journey to Santa Claus was almost complete. However, there were still some visual elements that needed to be agreed upon. Throughout the 19th century, many versions of Santa underwent some truly stunning weight fluctuations, appearing as everything from minuscule to gargantuan, and hitting every possible weird variation in between. In one picture, he even bears a shocking resemblance to George Washington flying on a broomstick. The political cartoonist Thomas Nast is often credited with having invented Santa's image, but the best description I can give of his Santa Claus is a nearly spherical garden gnome wearing ill-fitting fur leggings and sporting a truly disgusting beard. I personally would let this creature nowhere near my future children. The last pieces of the puzzle, the red coat and the being human-sized, didn't come until 1931, courtesy of illustrator Hayden Sundblom. Sundblom was an artist for a certain cola company, a wink. Around the 1930s, this cola company decided, what does this holiday need more of? Soda, specifically selling it for money as is our custom. That's right, Santa's iconic red and white are the colors of that oh-so-familiar cola company. Copyright law. Thank goodness fully developed and not evil Santa worked his way back over to Europe and squished the crazy flock of Christmas demons terrorizing the European children when he landed. The end. Look, it's snowing inside now. That's festive. Probably not great for the books, though. That concludes this episode of How to Sound Smart. Remember, play to your strengths. Is everyone talking about how violent media is affecting America's youth? Nope, here comes you, and now they're talking about how Santa spent most of his life as a monster. Once again, I am Stella Green, and this has been How to Sound Smart. Happy holidays.